Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to SOS. My name is LaKeesha Hines, and I am saving our bedrooms, our sex lives, one bedroom at a time. And I have the beautiful Mrs. Janella Bradley with me coming to drop some knowledge on each and every one of us, including myself. There's some I can learn too. Miss Janella got a lot of wealth of knowledge and information she's going to share with us, and I'm just excited to have you. How are you feeling today, Miss
I'm
Janella?
feeling great. Thank you, my sister, for letting me share this awesome space with you. I'm so excited. Anytime we get together to spend time, it's going to be great. So
It's a
thank you for letting
party.
me share with you. It's definitely a party.
It is a party. Listen, I want us to party New Orleans style. That's what
Oh,
I want us
yes.
to do. Yeah, we got to do that. Not here today. People not ready for
Right,
that, but
right.
we do need to make that happen.
We do. We
So,
do.
Janella, all this month, I have been telling the people that it is, I know it's a lot of stuff that goes on in May, but it's only really one major holiday that I am concerned about for the month of May. No disrespect to the other ones, okay? It is this one. It is Mother's Day. And I
Yes.
know it
Yes.
just happened 2 days ago. I'm fully aware. I understand. But guess what? All month, okay,
Oh, my.
in Hinesville, it's going to be Mother's Day.
I know that's right. Mother's Day
Yes.
every day for me.
Mother's Day
Yes.
every day, but we're taking over the month of May for Mother's Day,
Yes.
okay? This is what we're doing. So I just want to say to all the mothers out there, I hope you had a phenomenal Mother's Day. I hope the special people in your lives took good care of you. I hope you got pampered and loved on and all those good things. I was working, Janilla. I was working
You were
on Mother's Day.
working.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm all right with it because you know what? It's ministry. It's God's work. So we
That's
want to
right.
make sure that He gets all the honor, the glory, even on Mother's Day. All right. But
Yes.
so I have 30 more days. I have 30 days to celebrate Mother's Day, right? And Sunday was the day I had to work, and it's all good. So, one of the things we've been talking about for this month, also as a scriptural foundational reference, is First Corinthians 7:4. And it says, the wife hath not power of her own body, but the husband. And likewise, also the husband hath not power of his own body, but the wife. So, what is this saying? That neither one of us are in control of our bodies, they belong to our spouses. And so, why are we always trying to predict, determine, control how things are going to go? Because my body belongs to you, yours belongs to me. So I don't have no control over what I think you should be saying or doing as far as this body is concerned. You don't have no control over that either because we both have equal partnership in this. And we're always trying to get to this place where we're saying, well, you know what? This is my body. Okay, well, what
Mhm.
if your spouse said, well, this is my body? And then we go retreat to our two corners instead of us focusing on my individual, what I have, this, whatever. If I'm thinking about pleasing you and honoring you, and you're thinking about pleasing me and honoring me, aren't we both being taken care of?
Wow, that's such a sweet spot. I actually love that scripture, but I don't know how we got stuck at the first part. I don't know why that scripture just stopped right at the husband own the woman. I mean, it just everybody, even if they're not a practicing Christian, they
Right.
know that scripture. I own this woman's body. But
Yep.
there's a beautiful word that's there that says likewise. Isn't that so sweet? That
Likewise.
likewise. Yes, there's more. There's
There's
more.
more.
Yes, and like you said, it's such a beautiful thing when we both have that concept that we belong to each other. It's even
Yes.
saying it sounds sweet versus I own your body, it's mine. I mean, that's a killer right there.
Okay, talk about it because here's the thing, right? Words have so much power.
Mhm.
Words have so much power. And if I'm constantly being told that I own your body does not belong to you, then what that does is create a disconnect.
Oh my
Two
God.
different types of disconnect. One, you disconnect me from my own body.
Hmm.
The second thing is you disconnect me from you because now we're in this ownership type of position where it is this dominating, domineering, controlling. There is nothing sexy about that. And again, words have power. Words can either draw me in or words can actually push me away. So, to your point, Janella, it sounds sweet when you say, likewise. So that means that we are in this together and that we
Yes.
both need to adopt the same mindset and attitude, which is I'm taking care of you, you're taking care of me. And again, then that means that we're both taken care of.
Exactly. And one more thing before you move
Yes,
on.
yes,
This
yes.
is the words, like, this is really when the heart of the matter really matters. Like how you say things, where it's coming from. And it does remove that ownership, that like I'm the boss of you. And it really takes the sweetness, the connection out. So if your heart is in a good place when you say, I own your body, you likewise, it's vice versa. It's just a beautiful place to be, and it sets the tone. So when you come in a loving place, you can receive that love and it's reciprocated.
Absolutely. I love that you said that too because, the words in and of
Mhm,
themselves may not be the thing that upsets you or hurts you or frustrates you or creates that disconnect.
mhm,
It may not be the words themselves. And we talked about this, the 738-55 rule, right? When we're
mhm,
communicating, that 7% are words, 38%
mhm.
is actually the tone, 55% is the body language. So
Yes.
it's not always the words because there are times where my husband has said those words,
Yes.
but he means it
Speak
in a
on it.
much different way. And I'm like,
That's it.
yes, yes, you do. Do whatever you want to do with it, whatever, right?
Whatever.
So it's whatever. So it's not necessarily the words, like you
Mhm,
said, it's the mind behind
mhm,
it, it's the
mhm,
motive, it's the intent behind it. Because on a real note, and I don't want to be somber, but we got to call it what it is, right?
mhm,
It is that mentality in an unhealthy mind that leads individuals to violate women and to take advantage of women. And this is a real thing because this is something that has been happening for centuries, that we were told that we were just pieces of property, right? And not
mhm.
human beings, but actual property. And we were bought and we were sold and we were bargained and there was arranged marriages, which is still happening in other
Yes.
places. But it's we're to a point now where this is 2023
Mhm,
and
mhm.
we're human beings with feelings, emotions, and thoughts and opinions and all of those things. And while yes, you may be my husband and my body does belong to you, that also includes a responsibility to care for it and nurture it and take care of it and to please it, right? And to
Mhm,
protect it and guard
mhm,
it and all of those things. So it's not just from a sexual standpoint that it
mhm,
belongs to you. No, no, no. There's responsibility that comes with that. So yeah, own it for sure. But
mhm.
there's responsibility
Definitely.
that comes with that. Likewise, there's responsibility that comes with us as well because we own our husband's bodies and we need to make sure that we're doing all of those things for their bodies too.
That's right. That's exactly right. I'm not sure if you're following this show on Netflix right now called Queen Charlotte. Are you
No,
familiar with it? But let me tell you,
I haven't started yet. I saw it. I'm like, I need to start that.
I won't give it away because it's real popular right now. It's a hot topic. So, but there is a character when you talk about owning in a way of almost like you're a piece of property. There's a
Hmm.
particular character, and they go into actually, you will get a visual. I'll say that of what that looks like when the
Right.
husband feel like his wife or woman is his property. And while they were in their intimate space, she literally was like a board, and he basically was just doing his business with no regard. If he just looked at her, he would have seen that she was nowhere on the premises. She was like
Right.
disconnected, and he just basically had taken advantage of her, did whatever he wanted to do with no connection. And although it's the setting of the show is like many, many centuries ago, but that is still going on now. Like you're
Yes.
just taking care of your need, getting off, doing whatever you want to do, and you could care less if your wife is experiencing it, if she's present, if she's
Hmm.
enjoying it. but because she's just a task or a property, you just do take care of yourself with no regard to her. And it's actually a sad place to be for a person receiving that. And it can be very damaging, not only emotionally, physically, it just can really have a person go off into a dark space when they're the person who they're supposed to love and do life with, handle them in that manner.
Yes, which leads me to our first point today. I mean, we've already made a few points, but the ones that we plan to make today were that was a perfect segue into that, Janelle. And I think it was perfect in that, today, as you said, in 2023, we still have women who have been shamed and guilted by their spouses
Mm-hmm.
or some flawed belief that came from their religious beliefs, their culture, society, whatever it is, that they have to give up themselves, give into these ideas, notions, ideologies, or whatever, and give of themselves physically, sexually to men who literally have no emotional, mental, relational, spiritual, financial, or whatever connection. They've abandoned them in all of these areas, and yet you still want me to show up physically when you are
Mm-hmm.
doing nothing to take care of all of my other needs outside of the bedroom. Which is many times why I say, when couples come through and they want counseling or whatever, they're having problems in the bedroom, we always start outside. We start
Mm-hmm.
outside of the bedroom and we work our way into the bedroom because the majority of the time that's where the issue lies. Outside of the bedroom.
Exactly. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no, you're good.
Okay, I'm glad you said that because a lot of times it's definitely something that's outside that's contributing to this coldness that's in the bedroom. A lot of times they may not have even identified what the problem is. Sometimes there's such an emotional disconnect or emotional neglect that possibly the husband experienced growing up, or he just really don't know how to tap into that emotional side. So there's a disconnect in a bedroom. There's no connection. There's no communicating. Nothing of importance is discussed. So when it's time for you to be intimate, if you haven't built up to that point, it's going to be dry. It's going to be stale. And then you're like wondering what is going on. I come home, he goes in the basement, or when something is exciting that's going on, we're not even talking about it. I'm calling my girlfriend, I'm calling my mom, I'm talking to the lady at the Kroger store, grocery, whatever, because
Right.
there's just nothing that is happening between us. And people do not realize you get busy with life, doing life day in and day out, and you're moving further and further apart. That emotional connection is gone. Is a lot of neglect. So once you get to the bedroom, it's just dead,
Yeah,
stale, and broken.
absolutely. And, we'll talk about how that happens. We'll talk about how we get to that place because it's not something that just magically appears. No, this is something that is it's been brewing over time,
Mhm.
and then by the time we get there, it's so much of that has happened prior to us getting to that place. It's a gradual death or what have you
Mhm.
of the sexual intimate relationship that again happens over time, and it happens because of words, because of actions, because of thoughts. Like it happens
Mhm.
because of all of those things. And so we'll dig a little bit deeper, but we are going to take a quick break. So do not swipe left or right. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. You're watching SOS.
We're really excited about Foundation. It is a new group program where couples are gathering from all around the world twice a week. Couples who just want to have a thriving, successful, amazing marriage. No really well-built house is built without a foundation. As a matter of fact, without a foundation, it can't stand. It would just crumble right into the ground. We are going to interview experts and other successful couples so that you can get a glimpse into the lives of other people who are doing what it is that you desire to do, who have and are accomplishing what it is that you want to accomplish. And we also have over 500 videos available for you to watch of all of our teaching. Everything that we've ever done, every topic that we've ever covered will be accessible to you.
So guys, if this sounds exciting to you and if this sounds like something you've been waiting for, go ahead and just give it a try. We're literally giving away a 15-day trial for $1. And then after that, It's simply $3 a day. And so, is your marriage worth it? Is your future worth it? Join the community today. Just click that button and meet us on the other side.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Listen, that video that just came on, that was about Last Chance Weekend, and we're talking about sex, and that's one of the things that comes up while we are at Last Chance Weekend, and a whole host of other things. Janella, what can you say to the people about Last Chance Weekend? Because you know how we feel about Last Chance Weekend. I can go on and on and on, so I'm gonna let you chime in, talk about it, so I don't get go off the rails. I get
Let
excited.
me tell you, we get excited when we talk about Last Chance Weekend because we know the blessing you will receive, and it basically will transform your personal life and as well as your marriage. We actually have a Last Chance Weekend coming up this weekend, and there's a little room left. So if you are considering thinking about it, you still have a chance to get in. If you can make it to Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia by Friday, you can make it to the Last Chance Weekend. I have a lot of people in my inbox reaching out to me wanting to know more about it. And we just encourage you to, if you're considering, just jump in and do it. It is life changing. Things that you wouldn't even consider or understand, like, why are we struggling with this? In a second, you can get breakthrough. And when we see how those individuals come in sad, broken, feeling hopeless, despair, some of them already signed the papers for divorce. And when they leave, they are hugging, loving, and starting and ready to start a new life. So here I go, LaKeesha. I'm about to run off and just keep going. But if you are considering, please click the link, make a discovery call, just reach out to any of us, and we will help you get there and get you on the path to recovery that I know you so desperately need.
Yes, 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 yes. And you're right, boy. We keep saying we need to take before and after pictures. The way that they come in on that Friday and the way that they leave on Sunday, completely different couple, right? So
Right,
we
right.
really need we really need to do that so we can start showing people, because I don't think they believe us when we say that, but like it's just a whole energy that just the looks on their faces,
Mhm,
and that they're barely touching, and I mean it's just
mhm.
amazing, amazing, amazing. But let's get back to our topic, and just talking about how many times wives are in a position where they feel as if their husbands only want them for sex, that that's all that they want them for. And so we were talking about how that coldness can happen in the bedroom, and you're trying to figure out, like, how did we get to that place? How do we get to that place? Well, again, it's that disconnection. We talk about those four quadrants, right? The mental, the emotional, the spiritual, and then the physical. So if you're not connecting in three out of four of those quadrants, which is the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual, then that's going to impact what happens physically. And so now let's take a minute, because I know, Janella, you're really the smart one here today. So I know this is gonna resonate with you. But let's just take a minute and let's just talk about biological structures, right? When we think about the brain. The brain is like the central processing unit of a computer. And the central processing unit controls everything. So if you think about a desktop computer, and I know everybody's moving away from desktop, but if you think about a desktop, you have a mouse, you have a keyboard, you may have some speakers attached to it or whatever, but none of those things work without the central processing unit, the monitor as well.
Mhm.
Nothing works without that central processing unit. It's just there, it's not doing anything. So if we don't change our mind,
Oh my
then we
God.
will not have the end result that we desire. Because if in the mind I think all you want me for is sex, because you're not stimulating my mind, then guess what? The body will respond and follow suit. The body will not be excited. The body will not be stimulated. Nothing will work the way it is supposed to, because mentally I am thinking that you really don't want any other part of me but this, and I'm disconnected because we haven't been connecting on an intellectual level. So again, if we don't stimulate that mind, then the rest of the body, it's just laying there dormant, like you said. It's just cold because it hasn't gotten the proper message from the central
Mhm.
processing unit or from our brain. And I think likewise, the brain also controls our emotions and our feelings and all of that too. So if we're not feeling that emotional connection, and we're not feeling that spiritual connection, and like I said, the body won't follow suit. So does that resonate with you at all,
Oh my
Jamila?
goodness, that is a perfect example of what we're talking about. You brought up the laptop, the computer. It is like control alt delete. You have ended the task when have not done what you need to do to stimulate the mind. If you don't get that, I don't understand. There must be some other issues going on, but literally, that's how it happens. If you're not stimulating the mind, working on the mind and guiding and making that connection, the rest of it will be cold, dry, and dead, for lack of a better word. So it does start in the mind, and that was a very good example of it. So if you're looking for it to be exciting in the bedroom and you're looking for that connection and the response, you have to begin to work on that. Speak what's going on in your head, connect with one another so the other parts can be lively and ready to receive. So it starts with that. That was perfect, smart lady. You the one rolling with all of this knowledge.
Listen, when you say control alt delete, that did it for me because it's so true. It's
Yes,
like it's putting a
right.
brake. Gosh, that makes so much sense. So just know, just so you know, I'm feeling it. It's stolen. It's officially stolen. Control alt delete, ladies. So you need to drop in the chat. What is your control alt delete moment? Like, what is that thing that makes you pump the brakes? That's like,
Mhm.
no, all systems shut down, reboot, restart, because
Right.
this is not working for me. So you need to drop that in the chat. Good morning, Shantae and Gorgeous Wells and Lady D. I know that there's some others that didn't say hello, and that's okay. Every time I have a guest, they act like they can't talk to me, but it's okay. It's okay. If you're willing to drop your name and where you're streaming from, I will shout you out as always. But let's go on, because I think this right here, I think was a really good point that we discussed when we were preparing to come on today, and we were talking about how if we don't nourish and take care of, again, those other areas, then of course we're going to have the impact or the result that we don't desire. So we have to make sure that we're being cherished outside of the bedroom and not feel like we're just an object or a sex toy, right? So you have to be able to take care of your spouse. I heard Hassani say something the other night. I don't remember which meeting or what group it was in, but he had given an assignment to one of his clients. It was the male. The male was having complaints about certain things. And so he gave the male an assignment. Hey, I need you to serve your wife, run her bath water, give her a massage, prepare dinner, or if you don't cook it, buy it and bring it. And rub her feet, or whatever. Like, he gave them this list of things to do. And as he was going down this list, I'm thinking to myself, check, 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 check. Boy, let me tell you something. You do all this, we ready to go.
Mhm.
Telling you,
Mhm.
but it can't be, again, going back to motive and intent, it can't be just because you're trying to get something, right?
Right, right.
Serving because you love me and you care about me. And likewise, ladies, we're here to serve our husbands too, but we're not talking about them because this is Mother's Day month. So we to be served as well.
Mhm.
Janella, don't you want to be served?
Exactly. And actually, when we're serving one another, it takes all of that pressure away from worrying about all the stressors of life. When you're thinking about doing good to someone, it actually changes the atmosphere. And what you put out in the atmosphere is definitely going to return to you. So even if you're like, okay, I want to do this, I want to change the vibe in the bedroom, I want to
Right.
get things going. So when you're in that mindset of doing for one another, is going to begin to be the mode that is you're setting the tone for your relationship, so that will follow taking care of one another, so serving, and it's going to come back to you. But one thing I think that just plague a lot of relationships, LaKeesha, is selfishness. It's
Hmm.
just too much selfishness in relationships where we forget that this is a partnership.
Yes.
If we focus on doing things together,
Hmm.
meeting each other needs, and going back to the scripture that we talked about earlier in the show, of when we realize that it's just not one-sided, that we're owners of one another, we take care of each other. So when you release that selfishness and begin to say, what can I do to show up better? How can I serve my spouse? How can I meet my husband's needs or my wife needs? And like you say, in this case, we are talking about, the women are not receiving what they need, but if the husband take the idea, the mindset that this is my wife, that I want to serve, that I want to please, that I want to give my best to her, then that'll get us out of this just self-centeredness that is really destroying marriages, destroying relationships. You can't move from one thing to another thing because you're just focusing on, this is what I need, this is what I need, and forgetting that this is a partnership.
Absolutely. And what a powerful point, because it is a partnership in every aspect of the relationship. We're partners in our finances, we're partners in parenting, we're partners in, what we decide to do career wise. Like, that's a conversation that spouses have to have, because your employment is going to affect me. If you think about it, Janella, you're in the healthcare field, and those are long days and long hours, especially if you are in a hospital setting and you're doing 12-hour shifts and you got 4 days on, 3 days off, or whatever that rotation is, however that
Yes,
goes, like, you are a zombie and you collapse when you come home when you're on that hospital rotation. And so it's hard. So we have to have those conversations about our careers too, especially when there's
mhm,
children who are involved. Because if you have the type of job where you're gone, where you're traveling or whatever, then that means that that parent who's not traveling at at times is a single parent, because you're gone.
exactly,
You're in a
exactly.
whole nother location because you're
Mhm.
always constantly traveling. So we have to have conversations about that, and even our goals and dreams and aspirations and what we desire to do, and what does retirement look like, and when do you want
Yeah,
to retire. So all of these conversations we have to have. And so if you think that we're not going to have conversation outside the bedroom, and then we just jump into the bedroom and you think it's going to be all rainbows and unicorns up in there, that's not happening. Why? Because you even got to talk about the type of sex you want to have.
exactly,
You have to
exactly.
talk about what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and what you like and what you don't like. And when you get bored, need to be able to communicate that too. Because if you've been together a long time, it
Oh
will
my
get
goodness.
mundane and routine and stale. So, like, we gotta do some unconventional things. We gotta be willing to think outside the box. But that's a conversation.
Exactly. And we probably could have another show just on this topic, because a lot of times they're not even having conversations about their sexual needs and desires, especially if they had a train of partners before. They think they got it. Like, I know what to do. I've been around the
I know what
block.
I'm
And your wife
doing.
is right. Your wife's sitting there like, Jesus be
He
on
don't
this.
know what he's doing.
this man is missing, So please, if you think about it, if you haven't had a conversation, I definitely don't want to give away all the things that we do in Last Chance Weekend, but I love
Right.
one that allows that
Yes.
space because
Conversation.
you're surprised that some
Yes.
people, I don't care how long you've been married, I don't care if it's 1 year, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, you need that space to talk about it because as your body changes and you get older, your needs and feelings and I
Yes.
mean, if your wife is going through hot flashes and different things like that, she may not want your big burly body all over. It might have to come up with another position until she get past that. So you have to be mindful of what is
Real
going
people.
on in
This
life.
is
It's
real people. This is real
yes,
talk. Like you're right. When you start going through those hot flashes, I know we used to cuddle. We can't cuddle now. Like I'm
right.
hot. I need you to move over. So, but these are real
Yes.
conversations that again we have to have. And the last thing that I want us to touch on, and I know we're out of time here, but the last thing I want us to touch on is being in a destructive marriage versus a healthy marriage. There are times where we're in these relationships and we're wounding each other. We're wounding each other because of thoughtlessness and selfishness, and we haven't grown up in certain areas as of yet, right? So we can wound our spouses, and it takes time for wounds to heal. And so we have to make sure that again we're operating in a spirit of love and kindness, compassion, that as believers that's what we're supposed to be doing. And even if you're not believer, it's the right thing to do. You treat someone the way that you would want them to treat you, and that you don't want them being mean or rude or disrespectful or not showing you compassion or being patient with you. So we have to make sure that we're not wounding each other, because that will show up in the bedroom as well. And that will impact you in a negative way if we're inflicting wounds on each other. What say you?
Exactly. And I've heard it so many times with clients and just in conversations with people in relationships when they say you just hit below the belt. Like if they're in an argument and you know that maybe your spouse was maybe raped or molested or just had trust issues, and you know that, and you play on those wounds when you're in your day to day conversation. And then when it's time for the intimacy or the lack thereof, you want to know what's going on. It's those punches, those wounds in those sensitive areas. And in healthcare, we know, like, if there's a regular cut that we can just clean off and put a band-aid on and send you on your way, that's one thing. But when there's a deep wound with infection and different things going on, it's a specialized treatment for it. You have to
Yeah.
handle it more delicately, and sometimes you even have to bring others on board to help clean up the wounds, meaning you may need a counselor in a certain area, you may need to bring on others to help get those wounds. But if you know that your spouse is wounded and you're punching them in that wound or stepping on
Mm,
that wound or making it worse, imagine what it is doing to the emotional part of the relationship. And of course, that will definitely impact the physical, because like we said, in the mind, you're killing it. You're killing it from the beginning, and it's going to impact every other area. And that wound that was already there, that maybe you didn't have anything to do with it, you're making it bigger, you're making it spread, and you're going to make the treatment even more hard because you're adding too much pain to that sensitive area.
yes, ma'am. Woo! Exactly. So the difference between that destructive marriage and the healthy marriage is that even in a healthy marriage, we can hurt each other. We can wound each other.
Mhm.
But it's not intentional. It's because of some areas where we haven't quite developed yet, some areas where we just don't even know that what we're doing is causing hurt, harm, and pain, right? Which is why we gotta communicate. You have to let your spouse know if they're saying or doing things that are hurtful to you. But the difference is in a healthy marriage, like it should not be all the time. It shouldn't
Mhm.
be a pattern. And we should be able to talk about it, address it, and then course correct, forgive each other, and
Yes.
move forward. But in a destructive marriage, it's a pattern of wounding. This is happening over and over. And you will see different toxic behaviors like manipulation and shaming. And there's a lot of that goes on within these marriages. And again, just really impacts a person's imago Dei. And that's in Genesis 1:22-27. And really what that's talking about is the likeness of God. We are all made in God's image. And the more conflict, pain, stress, and and wounds that we get, the more we start to move away from that image of God, and then we start then hurting other people if we don't get the proper healing. So I encourage you all to have these conversations. If something resonated with you about this conversation and you've been able to identify some areas that literally there are some wounds and they're happening over and over and you haven't verbalized it, today is the day, because we want to make sure that not only are we in a healthy and safe space, but that we're having the best sex of our lives, right? You're
Yes.
married, you're supposed to be enjoying each other like God made it. We're supposed to enjoy it, but we can't if we don't deal with all these other areas. So I just want to say thank you so much, Janella, for being here today. Maybe you'll come back. You're always welcome. But thank you
Yes, I will.
for your contributions. Thank you all for tuning in. We will be here same time, same place tomorrow. I'm sorry, tomorrow next week. So make sure you tune in. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you on the other side. Have a good day, everybody. Bye.